Right, so hello and welcome back to Books and Things, and today is going to be a slightly different video. Today I'm going to a preview event for a literary festival, so I'm going to take the camera out and about with me, which is something I haven't done for ages. The preview event that I'm going to is for Cliveden Literary Festival, which is happening for the very first time this year in October. It's over the 14th and 15th of October, and it's featuring masses of awesome people, including Howard Jacobson, Simon Sebag Montefiore, Ashton Fawkes, Ian McEwan, Robert Harris, Amanda Foreman, and so many other exciting names in history and politics and literature. It sounds like it's going to be a really exciting festival, and I'm really excited for the preview event that's happening today. We're going to Clifton House, which is a National Trust property in Berkshire, and we're going to get a look around the house, and I have been promised tea and cake, so I'm extra excited. So I've taken the afternoon off work to go, so we're heading off this afternoon, but first I have to finish my tea, finish my writing, and head off to work.
This table, because underneath, you'll look at it, someone will look at it in a moment, because I think you think, oh, it's a beautiful piece of mahogany. It's a green painted pine table. But this was left here by the Sutherland family. So all that history we talked about, the Sutherlands, Queen Victoria, they've had their knees under this table. Charlie Chaplin, George Bernard Shaw, Winston Churchill, all had their knees under this table. So this little table, you know, what does it mean? What's interesting about the table? Nothing. But this little table is just carried on that time. And it goes the length of the room, so it can go up to 28 people. So there's been all sorts of amazing people around this place.
As you can see from the video, Clifton is an incredibly beautiful place, and I think will be a perfect venue for a literary festival. It has so much history to it as well, which I think is one of the things I found most interesting about the house. It's now half a hotel and partly a National Trust property. The gardens are National Trust. And while we were there, we met the butler of Clifton House, who has been the butler there for between 20 and 30 years, and he told us a lot about the history of this fascinating place. I also have this book, which I'm very excited to read, which they gave the few of us who went on this day, and I'll link their channels and blogs of the people who I went with down below. And this book sounds absolutely fascinating. It is about the history of Clifton House, and more specifically it is about the history of the women who have lived in Clifton House, which I think should be wonderful. I love history books a lot, and this looks like a really, really fascinating one, especially I think in the way that it explores the house's history of scandal and how important some of the women were who lived in this house. Clifton House was built in the 17th century, and for a lot of its history, unlike most houses at that time which went down through the male line on primogeniture, this house was handed down through the female line. It was also the home of the first ever female MP, which I think is really cool. Also, it has a fascinating sort of political and literary history. So many people have visited this house over the last sort of 400 years. Everyone from Jonathan Swift to Alfred Tennyson to Churchill to Charlie Chaplin to Mahatma Gandhi to George Bernard Shaw to F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Queen Victoria, of course, not forgetting Queen Victoria. The literary festival will consist of several smaller interviews and also several larger panels, all of which sound absolutely fascinating. For me though, I think the talk that is actually the most exciting is the one about the Russian Revolution and Russian history, because the panel consists of Robert Service, Simon Sebag Montefiore, Anna Applebaum, Victor Sebastin. Robert Service is like my favourite historian. When I was doing A-level history quite a few years ago now, reading Robert Service's books and reading his histories of the Russian Revolution, especially reading his biography of Trotsky, like that was one of the things that made me want to do history at university along with English. So yes, that sounds absolutely wonderful. I think it'll be a really exciting event in October, and it was a really lovely way to spend my afternoon to go along to the preview event and have afternoon tea. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this slightly different video. I will link everything about the literary festival down below in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back very soon with another bookish video.